Welcome to the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review, episode 33. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
Okay, here we go. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore then run? Maybe it sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? That's the great Langston Hughes.
What happened on Monday? In a world where families are limited to one child due to overpopulation, a set of identical septuplets must avoid being put into a long sleep by the government.
So what is the name of our actress in this? Because this whole thing hinges on her.
Well, she pronounces her name. I looked it up, and she herself said Noomi Rapace.
Noomi Rapace.
Yes.
And where was this filmed?
She is freaking amazing. I love this one.
It was
I like everything she's in. I like all these movies she's in.
I have not. I don't remember having seen her in anything.
The girl with the dragon tattoo. The girl who played with fire. The girl who kicked at Hornet's Nest. Those are kind of all the ones that are connected to each other. But
someday I have to get into that.
So she could be a badass. She could be a beautiful actress, like a beautiful character.
Right.
But she can kind of do the whole realm, which I like about her.
She was completely convincing as other people. It was so much. When you first realize that it's 7 roles and the very what's the first thing you think of? Because to me,
I thought of Boo 2.
I thought of Haley Mills.
I was thinking Tyler Perry. You were thinking
I was thinking Haley Mills, the old Disney.
Okay.
And I have to say, she did such a good job. We are really you're talking about the 80s being the period for horror films, acting.
Yeah.
I think that right now, we're in the golden age of acting.
You think so?
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely.
Acting what about the days of like in the 50s? Wasn't that kind of a big? Maybe that was a little swell, I guess, of acting. You had people like Cary Grant, and you had like. Well, that was kind of late in his career.
But the thing is you're absolutely right, but there was something that came from theater that all the way that they talk, all those actors, all the way that they talked and everything was, I am acting.
Jimmy Stewart, for example.
All of it, right? Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there was even in their voices, the way that they enunciated words was not of the common man. It wasn't like everybody, I think
I can see what you're saying.
I think that our modern actors
they're more real.
They're
which is what amazing about Noomi.
Yeah,
is that she can play 7 different characters
and actually
sell make it believable. Yeah,
and sell you that it was 7 different characters. I was so impressed with her.
Yeah,
and even the art direction of the film was just flawless. I mean, the futuristic effect to it, in contrast to the older apartment building.
My only complaint was the Chevy Astro van was supposed to be.
Yeah, well, cars are always difficult. Cars are always
which they
always
used. I mentioned
difficult.
that. I wanted to mention that in Bright, which she was in Bright too, by the way. Just a side note. But
she was.
They look like they use these Chevy Astro vans.
Right, yeah, I know.
In Bright too. So is Netflix like recycling these Chevy Astro vans? Anyway, you asked me where it was shot.
Vehicles are hard. Futuristic vehicles are incredibly hard.
Well, futuristic, of course, yeah. I like all the movies in the 70s where they're trying to be futuristic.
Right. Yeah. Well, exactly.
You go back and you're like, that's definitely a 70s vehicle. I mean, there's no question. It's like, I mean, how could they?
Right.
You don't really know.
It's difficult.
Back to the Future.
Cars are such a stylish element of the period. It's very hard to project what a car is
going to look like.
What it's going to look like. And the thing is when we look at what it's going to look like, we can maybe deal with looking at one good idea,
right?
But you have to have a lot of ideas to make a whole bunch of different cars look like something.
Yeah,
it's difficult. Cars are really, really hard. I mean, I helped make the car models for Mantis,
Right.
And the futuristic car that we were making, it was just difficult. It's like, and I think that we did at best a medium job of it in the end of making the car transform and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, back to this, there was something that it kind of niggled me just a little bit, and I think that just the fact that it's such a little thing, it is in itself an indication of how good the film was. Is what these people don't know how to surround a building,
Right.
I mean, the thing is they all seem to come from the front.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of like comes and goes in the back way, out a side window without any problem. And there's a certain point to where that begins to strain credibility.
Right. Well, I thought it kind of was a weak story though. A weak plot. And I felt like Willem Dafoe was one of my favorite actors in the whole world.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of
I think that he was misused in
his
it.
character would have been a lot better in some ways. He could have been a lot better, I mean.
You see, and I
want to see the backstory on him.
I agree with you. 100%. But there were enough things that I really liked about.
Yeah.
I loved the set with the thing that goes upside down and dumps the ashes out.
Yeah.
And the effect of the ashes and all that was really pretty good. I mean, you got to admit.
I like how they showed how they had to learn to take their own day and everything, and they had to play back everything.
Right.
So I like that scene where they're showing how things had changed over the years, because they showed kids playing on a playground, and then like the next one is like this guy getting the shit beat out of him.
Right. Yeah.
It's like
and the finger thing. Oh,
yeah, the finger.
Such,
so it was pretty amazing. I did have a little bit of trouble at some point, like trying to remember which one was Tuesday and which one was like.
Yeah, I didn't let. You know what? I didn't let that.
So the short hair helped me, because the short hair was one of the main characters, obviously.
I didn't let. I didn't let that. I kind of like let.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I kind of like let that all wash over me.
But it was a good action movie.
Oh yeah, it was a good.
It wasn't really
a good action movie. Yeah.
It was like a little taste of just the like dystopia kind of sci-fi.
Yeah,
but it was really turned into an action movie.
And that's and they did a really good job of futurism. And I'm wondering where it was filmed.
I know
it had a Czechoslovakian kind of Eastern European look.
I
to it.
did something crazy. I read the credits.
Oh no, really?
Which is actually easy to do on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I read the credits because I was wondering myself, and it was Romania.
Oh, was it Romania? Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. Because they had that dystopian, the dystopian feel.
And the building, I thought, was pretty interesting. The
one that they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. You couldn't get I love the fact that you had kind of trouble getting sense of its size and its shape, which kind of like lent us to letting them come in and out.
Yeah.
Pretty easily and stuff. And
What did you think of the crowd scenes? Like, I thought it was basically they played with sound, really. But I mean, they had crowds, but they weren't necessarily that loud. But they made them sound really loud and annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah. They also, I remember thinking to myself that they had built tension.
Yeah.
Really well. The tension of going outside and trying to maintain this facade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all playing the same character.
Yeah.
You have to look just like that person.
Yeah, and you have to go to that lineup, to get inside. Although why that lineup existed was a little bit odd. Yeah. I mean,
Well, trying to weed out the siblings.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. I thought it was very simple, but I like the kind of dark tone of it too, with the Glenn Close.
Yeah.
We have to mention her. She was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
But the fact that there was some underlying thing going on there, and you didn't really know what was happening, but it was like you kind of find out at a certain point. You're like, oh, that's what they're doing?
I kind of, that's right. But I kind of didn't understand the thing with the kids that they were keeping there. Without spoilers, I have to say that I still just really enjoyed it. And I think, and it was so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, so far, the Netflix movies we've gone into and reviewed, I have this, I guess I have a preconceived notion where it's not going to be as good as theatrical release.
Right. But
I'm surprised usually.
What? The thing is here you've got, let's look at four of them. I'm going to name four 4 of them off and tell you that to me it's kind of 50-50. You know, Bright was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Definitely this Monday film was stellar, probably the best out of the 4. Then there was 1922 and Gerald's Game. Yeah. Okay. Out of all of them, though, I have to say, you know, certainly there's a lot of worse crap out there.
So it's almost like they're really shining with Sci-Fi right now.
Yeah. No, I think they really are.
But The Babysitter.
The Babysitter was great.
See, that's a good horror one.
Yeah, that was a good horror one. Yeah, The Babysitter was great, and then you know the one with the kid and the Aussie one. That was.
So maybe with Netflix, it's more about budget and who directs it. Because I mean, Mick G, for example.
Yeah,
I thought he had a really good vision.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, you know what I've noticed is this is that it seems like these days enough people have been making low budget films, and the equipment, you know, the
technology,
overall has brought the price down a lot, and we're not developing film anymore. So
you got high def now. Everything's
you get
better
high
quality.
The writing is definitely better these days, and I don't know why that is, but writing has just gotten.
Well, you worked in the days of writer strikes and where you didn't have a script at some points, and
Well, you know what? You're right to a certain extent. We have fewer
unions and things like that.
We have fewer union writers, and more people are writing now. It's just like more people. It's like, you know what? How about the idea of a snapshot? Has that completely changed? Because it used to be that you would take 36 horrendous pictures with your camera. It would cost you 15 to 20 bucks to get it developed, and it made photographs in general. The great bulk of photographs looked like crap, right? But think of how much has changed with the technology today. You literally, almost everybody can take a good picture.
Yeah.
Because you can take it 100 and you can take 10,000 pictures in a day.
Yeah. They have like apps that make things look better now too.
Right, exactly. And the cameras are just playing better. And the thing is that's also happening with film. I mean, look at all those pictures. I mean, I'm sure that they had really low budgets, but at the same time, they had technology that, you know, it is better. And a lot of the writing, if you've noticed, one thing that those things all had in common is the writing kind of limited itself. I mean, probably not as much in Bright's case, but at the same time, you wrote it as being a slightly future version with you know, slightly different. There was a commonality, a common theme that made it that you didn't have to make the entire world. See what I'm saying? To go into this world. So you have that. You have like Gerald's Game is basically done in a room. You have 1922 that was done in an old funky house.
Because those are kind of adaptations,
right?
So it's a little easier. I don't know if it's easier to adapt a book, but
at the same time, I'm saying that you know your quality can be higher because your equipment's better. You know, you're getting better films for a lot less money. You know, even
I would think there'd be more crap out there because more people are doing it because it's more expensive or less expensive.
There is, I mean, you have people
and
it's called YouTube.
You have selfies, but you have. I heard about a model today who got kicked off an airplane because she's a model that does belfies.
Belfies? What's a belfie?
Butt selfies. So we're coming down.
I didn't need to know that. I didn't need to know that.
My point is that
I didn't even know that. I didn't need to know that existed.
So my point is that if you look at selfies, there's butt selfies, and then if you look at films, there's probably the butt selfie version of a film that probably didn't even need to be made.
Yeah. But the thing is Netflix gets to pick out of a much wider range of films.
What I like about Netflix is they seem to let people do what they want.
Yeah, they honestly do, and you know that HBO started that.
Yeah.
You know, HBO was the classic version of that.
So where's Hulu? They need to pick up their game.
Hulu's movies are
right. I think Hulu does more TV series.
Yeah, they do. Hulu's TV and Netflix's movies. Yeah.
But I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the Netflix stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
but back to this. I just really I love this film. I'm gonna have to go with what should we use as a parameter?
That's a good question. A finger.
Cut off
pinky.
finger.
How many pinkies?
How many pinkies? I would say.
What happens to one happens to you all.
Yeah, I'm gonna say four pinkies. 4 pinkies straight up.
4 pinkies?
Yeah, 4 pinkies. I liked it a lot. I really did.
I guess my problem is I had a problem with the story, but then I kind of overlooked that.
Your problem.
I'd say 3.5.
Your problem.
3.5 pinkies. And if they made the character of Willem Dafoe stronger, maybe had a little bit more backstory about him.
Yeah.
I want to know what happened to him. They didn't really just explain anything, really. They just kind of, unless I missed it, they didn't really describe what happened. But I really like him as an actor, and I think they could have been more stronger. And then also, if the plot was a little bit stronger, maybe the writing was a little bit more in depth, I guess. Not really bad. It wasn't bad writing, but it was just, I feel like it could have been more to it. It was more just about the action and what's going to happen next, you know.
Yeah, but you know what? It had her.
It had her. Yes.
She was the strong point for it.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She kicks ass. That's all I'm going to say.
I have to say, I don't. I was trying to think to myself if there had been any time that I had worked on a film where we were doing the multiple people. One person.
The only one I could think of was Multiplicity with Michael Keaton, which she didn't work on. But But no, it's like
I think I haven't done that.
Yeah. Which actually he did a good job with that. I mean, it was a comedy. Obviously, it was different, but.
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know if I have a story for this one.
That's okay. You kind of told the story. You had Mantis in there. And
oh, yeah, okay.
Mini story.
Yeah, mini story. Okay.
Story time.
Story time.
It's story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick.
Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick.
I wanted to set this straight. Because I'm actually talking to Blake Best about this in writing the book on Nightmare on Elm Street 4, is why I say we all the time. When I'm talking about these films, I talk about what we did as opposed to what I did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that I do that. I never believed that a production designer or an art director or a construction coordinator or an effects coordinator, any of those things, you're not. It isn't just you. It's you and a group of people, but particular production designer. I mean, you're operating with a bunch of people, and you're trying to drive this train. You're trying to keep all this going in the direction that you want, and I've always considered it a group thing. I've never thought about, because somebody once said that I was very humble because I said it that way. And that's totally not the case at all. As I just consider, I consider what I did as a group of people, but it also makes it harder to understand what I did specifically, what a production designer does. Because it is a group of people. It's your art director, it's your construction coordination, it's your location manager. To some extent, it's the DP and wardrobe also. If those were my stronger suits, I would be more involved in the DP work or the costume. My strengths were more in the design aspect of sets, the color aspect of sets, the aspects that dealt with the special effects and the construction. Therefore, I lent myself more towards more complicated shows. Than I remember I had a producer ask me one time. He goes, we've been looking through your resume and it's pretty impressive, but I have a question for you: can you production design a living room? And I said, you know what? I think we're going to have to part ways already. Because that's a stupid question.
A living room full of bodies. You should have said yes, and they
Exactly.
came up with this
Upside
crazy,
down,
like,
upside down, full
bloody,
bodies, no problem. Yeah,
bloody
no problem. In the
thing.
future, yeah, no problem. You know, and you know, like of course that's not the point. Being production design is that you're creating a look that is
the overall look of the film, right?
That is the overall look of the film. It's knowing what that is, knowing where you're going, knowing what the director wants to see, knowing what you want to see, knowing what the DP is going to do, and trying to guide all of that and the personalities and so forth. And it can be quite a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say that I never felt that it was me. I always felt that it was my crew.
And I thought when you said we, I thought you were talking about you and your other personalities.
Well, that was my crew.
Mick and Rick and
all the rest of them. Yeah, it's like if I would work on a small film like Fantastic Four, I think I probably had 10 people working for me at the most. And then you turn around and Nightmare on Elm Street 4, where it would have been closer to 100 people, maybe even, at times as high as 150 people. And having Facebook, an awful lot of those people do try and get a hold of me, and they know me better than I know them. I mean, they say, "Oh, hi, Mick." It's like, I don't remember these people. That was like 100,
well, of course.
150 people, and you
you were basically the boss, kind of. So
right, exactly, and everybody thinks that they know you.
Right. Yeah.
So that's. I just wanted to clarify that part of the job and why I think of what I did as a group.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Next.
As always, you can reach out to us on email at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at DWReview. For now, thank you for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review.